What's up, everybody? It's your boy Showtimedr. So we're gonna go today into a different character. Let me pull up here Imelda. Imelda is, I've noticed, the most celebrated magical character, at least as far as getting the job done damage-wise. Kind of does some hybrid stuff, but the fun thing about her is, if you notice, she's actually classified as an infantry unit. So, kind of opens up some crazy combinations for her. So first we'll get with her passive here. She starts at 2 stars, which means she's an SR unit, so if you're lucky enough to have gotten her, I haven't yet, congratulations. So troop damage increases by 10% after attacking, casts Iron Hand on one ally within 2 blocks. All hero stats increase by 10%, loses 10% HP after battle. And as you rank that up, you know, the percentages get a little better, 14%, 15% at 4 star, until eventually you get to 20 and 20, but if you notice, cast on 4 allies versus 3 at 5 star, 2 at 4 star and below. So just a phenomenal thing. Essentially, troop damage is increased by 20, and 4 allies get their hero stats improved by 20%. She's always going to lose that 10% HP after battle, but you just got to roll with the punches. So that makes her a crazy powerful unit. Now, as far as factions go, I believe there's some type of glitch on the wiki, unfortunately, but she's part of Strategic Masters. You can see her here. I believe she's also part of Empire's Honor, but it brings up all these newer characters that haven't been released. They're probably in the the Chinese version right now. So I'm guessing she's part of Empire's Honor because she's not under any of the other 2, and she has 2 factions. So if you're running either Empire's Honor or Strategic Masters, gonna be pretty awesome. She doesn't have a faction buff herself, as far as I saw. They might have snuck one in, we'll see, but as far as I saw, there wasn't one. So we'll get into her here and what she does. Optimal build, I'll tell you guys real early, you're gonna want to go Mage all the way down to Queen, and then probably go to Bishop, but there is an argument for Swordsman, which I'll present to you guys later. So right now we're gonna do Mage, Archmage, Queen. So as a Mage, you notice here, no skill. Now, or excuse me, that's this freaking Warlock character. That's the base trooper, that's just the way it is. So her skills that she gets on top of her passive, attacks a single enemy dealing 1.5 times damage, bonus against Lancers. Pretty much your standard there, except for the bonus against Lancers for your first ability as a mage. Now, she does get mass attack early, which is super crazy because as an SR, that's actually pretty strong, and most characters don't get access to mass attack till at least their 2nd class. But she gets it right on the primary class, so right here we got active skill, intelligence and attack of multiple trooper, increased by 20%, and they become immune to attack and intelligence down, and immune to deactivate active skills last 2 turns. And thanks to everyone who pointed out the help for me, because I always thought maybe this was a detriment, but it turns out to be a buff, so as it should be. So that's pretty good for a starter class. Now we're going to get into Archmage. Well, let me get... She does... Another cool thing about her is she gets access to some crazy troops. So right here you got the Witches. Normal attacks, magic damage. When soldier HP is above 100%, attack increased by 10. That's cool, but you know, it's kind of like the ranged troopers. But then the cool thing about the Dark Elves is, when attacking troops with 100% HP, after entering battle, their attack increases by 20%. So this is a very strong troop against, if you're running against PvP comps, or things that tend to heal a lot, like heal over time. This is actually a pretty good troop to have, just for that extra hitting whenever they're at 100%. Now, her active skill 2, this is actually a really good one as well. It's going to get Blizzard, 0.03 times AoE damage. Bonus when battling against Lancers once again. For some reason, I guess Lancers hate cold. But the cool thing about this is the mobility of the troops decreased by 2 blocks, so that's pretty strong. I'm guessing this is your typical AoE, so it's probably got a good 3 to 4 range. Spread range, 4 to 5, possibly 6. Not even sure, but I'm sure it's around 5. And then as far as her Queen, once you get the Queen, you get the Wizard. Wizard, when attacking, attack and magic defense increases by 30%. They use attack, which is odd, considering magic damage, but then it buffs attack. So hopefully that means that it buffs intelligence, I'm not sure. But either way, Good stuff there when you're fighting against magical creatures. Now, your Dark Elf Archer, if you notice, it's pretty funny. Dark Elf. And then apparently there's a special trooper of Dark Elf Archers, which is comical, but... Anyways, attacking troops 100% after entering battle, they get 15% bonus versus the 10. But this is where shit gets really crazy now, so... You get 2 AoE abilities. One of them is a heal. It's the same heal that a lot of the healers get in the game. So restores HP multiple troops, 3 times caster's intelligence. Dispels 1 debuff. The Dispels 1 debuff, as I was talking to Horrible Chopstick in his stream, he was telling me that that saved his butt so many times in the later battles, because I think he's currently on chapter 22 or something crazy. So, and then Thunderstorm, that's going to be your second AoE that you're going to get. Possibly the third, I'm trying to remember. But 0.3 AoE damage with a bonus when battling against Cavalry this time, not Lancers. So she has bonus damage against Cavalry and Lancers, which is good because Cavalry is kind of her natural enemy just because of the mobility. You can go to the Archers to counter Flyer troops. And then she also has the bonus damage against the Lancers, which a lot of the... Well, let me finish up the skill, then I'll get into that. With a bonus against battling cavalry, enemy defense is decreased by 20%. This is going to be very strong against something like Dragon or anything with a lot of health. So, or AoE packs, PvP packs, etc. Going to be really good against that. Now, what I'm talking about with the magic damage, there are a lot of characters in this game that are Lancers that are tanks. So, like your Vargas, etc. Where doing physical damage against them, no matter how good your physical damage is, if they are equally geared to you, is a chore because they got so many damage reductions and buffs and heals after battle, etc. But, so you want to have a really good magic damage user, such as Imelda, Bozel, etc. But this is one of the skills that's going to help you with that. Getting the defense down, battling against cavalry, slowing troops down with her previous skills, etc. And then the bonus damage to Lancers, you're really going to need that, just because there's so many good Lancer tanks in the game. So now I'm going to go into, that's the optimal first build for Imelda. But I'm going to go into her side classes and which one, depending on what you got on your team, which one you should go into first. We'll look at the Bishop first. So the Bishop, you get the Inquisitors and the Elite Horse Archer, which is kind of comical. Melee unit with Horse Archers, but that's all good. So the Inquisitor, it's your same thing, although usually these guys have bonus damage against demons, so if you're finding like an all-demon map, you may want to roll these guys out. Now, the Elite Horse Archers, I'm going to highlight this trooper because, if you notice, when initiating combat, 30% chance to reduce enemies' defense by 20%. That is very high for just a trooper. Super high. So that's amazing. So if you ever get a chance, there's lots of physical stuff on the map. Run this for sure, in my opinion, unless there's a ton of Lancers. But that's just me. So her passive in this, once again, the Bishop class, after attacking, restores troop HP within 2 blocks by 2 times own intelligence. Do you read that properly? Okay. After attacking, passive. Restore troop HP within 2 blocks. I'm reading that as all allies within 2 blocks by 2 times own intelligence. Her intelligence is going to be massive if you're building her right. So that's going to be amazing to help keep sustain for your other units that you hopefully have her. And that's part of the reason she's a melee unit. She works a little bit like Chris in that area, but she's healing troops more instead of... well, she can heal regular heroes as well, but that's an active skill. But this is insane. This is nuts, especially if you get her rolling with like a Liana who can give her an extra turn or any type of mechanic like that. That's pretty strong. So if you want sustain and you're going to be using her in the front line for a bunch of your armies, this is definitely the tree to go right after Archmage, or not Archmage, Queen, in my opinion. Now, the other argument is Swordsman. So Swordsman, it's kind of your typical, you get the Elite Infantry, combat damage taken decreased again by 20%, great against Lancers. Now you get the Amazon as well, initiating combat attack increases by 20, great against horses. But so you get, and this is always kind of a hard choice because this passive is, if you have her right in the thick of things, and keep in mind she has a range where she can attack 2 and 3 squares away and then spread lots of AoEs, etc. Crit just passively increases by 10, which is awesome, 10%. Chance, by the way. When damage is dealt, 50% chance to nullify enemies' passive skills. Last 2 turns, critical hits are always successful. So if you get a crit, you're going to negate their passive skills. But even if you don't, high base chance of 50%. So if you get an AoE off and there's 3 or 4 people there, odds are pretty good you're going to get at least 2 to 3 of them with that skill. So this is more of you want to go on an offensive kick versus keeping your troops up. But by the time you get to the point where you can unlock either the swordsman or the bishop, you're going to be like a level 35, I want to say. No, you're going to be higher than that. Unless you're just spending a bunch of points to just go unlock everything. That's up to you if you want to farm stuff. That is possible, by the way. You can get down to Archmage and then go to Bishop, go to Swordsman, do whatever. But you have to master the class, though, remember, in order to transfer the troops and the skills to whatever you're running. That's an opposite class. So, hopefully that was a good roundup. As far as, a lot of people have been asking me about combinations of skills. So as far as combinations of skills go, you're going to have your passive, which, once again, if people forget, troop damage increases by 20%, cast Iron Hand, up to 4 allies, usually it's 2 allies, increase hero stats by 20, so a really good front line. So with that, you can actively tweak things in between battles, but if you want, you can go the Deadly Lancer build, which is going to be Freeze Strike. You come down here and you get Blizzard. And then you run whatever passive skill of your choice. So you can run Mass Attack if you want. You can come down here to Queen. Maybe get one of the heals if you need some extra heals. Also has the Dispel debuff. And then the Thunderstorm is going to be really good against Lancers. What you could do as well if you're doing PvP, maybe run Mass Heal. Have one good fat heal for you. Thunderstorm, just for the reduced defense. And then you could come back up. And you could run either Blizzard to get move speed for a bit, which is actually really nice. And this is PvP I'm talking about, guys. Or you could do Mass Attack. You could sub out one of the AoEs for Mass Attack if you got some other troops that you want to clean up. But keep in mind, too, a lot of the faction buffing, once you get to 35, also has Mass Attack, essentially the same thing. So, and then as far as, say, sustain builds, active builds, you're probably going to want to go... You're going to want to have one AoE no matter what. So I would, in that case, probably go between Blizzard or Thunderstorm, depends on what you're fighting. Mass Heal, and then choose one of the passives. So whichever passive you think is better works for you. You could either do, after attack, restore troop HP within 2 blocks, really good for sustain maps, or maps that are like the Endless style maps. Or once again, the disable passive tree over here. So switch out. Rinse and repeat, your choice. So now we're going to get into equipment, guys, and enchants. So let me pull that up for you. Damn, I love the way this video is going versus most of my videos. I try to go faster, but I did a lot more studying for this one. So, okay, so I guess we're here at gear. I forgot, usually I go enchants first, but screw it, we'll go gear. So, what you're going to want to look at for gear, and keep in mind, guys, there's always multiple things you can do. The video would be super long if I recommended everything I saw. But as far as weapons go, there's 3 weapons you could choose from, in my opinion. So you got the Astroth. Oh, you know what? I forgot, her class change thing doesn't work. Hold on. Look at... Well, you can go Archmage, so it's fine. Yeah, you could go Archmage. She starts off as a swordsman, but you could go Archmage and get the whole mage tree going too. So a lot of these things. Depends on what class you guys want to do. But these are recommendations for mostly the mage class style. So I should clarify that because I forget most characters can go multiple builds. Alright, so the Astroth here. When battling enemies afflicted by debuffs, intelligence increases by 3%. When initiating combat, 15% chance to stun the enemy after battle lasts 1 turn. And keep in mind, guys, as you level this up, the percentages are just going to keep increasing. So, pretty good stuff there. Now, also, there's the Miracle Staff, which is right next to it. AoE damage increased by 3%. When dealing damage, 15% chance to deal 1 powerful debuff to an enemy. I still don't know what the difference is between powerful debuff and regular debuff, but it might just be higher percentages, or it might be a certain subset of debuffs. Not sure on that. Well, apparently my song's kind of soft. Oh, it's because it's soft piano right now. Well, that's just the way it goes. Alright, and then the last thing I will say... Let me find it here. Purgatory. La la la. So Purgatory. Intelligence increased by 1%. When dealing damage at the end of the next turn, enemy takes fixed damage. What's up for you guys? Once. Damage equals 1 times hero's intelligence. Well, clearly, you're going to be building her intelligence like crazy. Stats to focus, by the way. Intelligence. P defense, because she does tend to get in the mix of things. M defense. And then also HP. As always, crit damage. Or I forget what they call it on this game. Rating or whatever the hell. Get your rating. Or skill. I think it's skill. Get your skill as high as possible. Now then, we will get to armor. Armor, the number one thing I'm going to recommend, it's only one, it's right here, the Death Robe. Okay, now, it says HP and defense, that's just what armor does. Crit is decreased by 20% when attacked, pretty good, helps sustain. 15% chance to increase the enemy's damage taken by 20% last 2 turns. Just overall 20% fat damage, that's super good. So that's my high recommendation for her item there. Now, as far as helmets is always a dicey thing, because it seems like a lot of the helmets have on-hit effects, AoE, like within 2 spaces of the character. Which isn't bad for this character, but I'm gonna kind of go into some other stuff here. So the Soul Stealer headdress. Magic defense plus 2%. After taking action, 25% chance to deactivate active skills of 1 enemy within 3 blocks. So like I said, she's right there in the mix, so get her defense up a little bit, magic defense, because she'll be doing ranged attacks a lot. And have a chance to deactivate active skills after battle, that's pretty awesome. Or maybe not even after battle, I guess just in general. After taking action, yeah, even better. That's pretty good. And then we got the Odin Battle Helm. Divine Threat. Magic defense plus 2%. When eliminating an enemy on this turn, dispels 1 buff after attack from 1 enemy within 3 blocks after taking action. So pretty much the same concept, just this one gets rid of buffs. Now this is going to be my first 2-star recommendation, guys, so check this out. 2-star, like as a top tier thing for this character, Imelda. Warlock's Hood. After taking action, 25% chance to decrease magic defense of 1 enemy within 3 yards by 30%. That would wreck things like Dragon. Anything that has high amounts of HP. Super good right here. So if you manage to get the Warlock Hood, yeah, it's 2-star, but it's pretty freaking awesome. So on the accessories, I'll show you guys a couple, but there's honestly a ton of good accessories. You just gotta match it to whatever you need in the moment. So Star Earring. This has intelligence plus 1.5% at the beginning. When battling against assassins and archers, defense is increased by 10%. That's our natural enemies, guys, is assassins and archers. Anyone that hits really hard physical, so you can help keep her up whenever those troopers are around. Now we got Eye of the Beholder as well. Intelligence plus 1.5%. When initiating combat after battle, grants a 25% chance to reduce the enemy's damage dealt by 15%. Another good thing for big bosses or any type of really tanky unit. Or just keep their damage down. A lot of the tank units in this game, they have a lifesteal strike that does 30% of their damage as healing. So if you can decrease their damage, that decreases their sustain. Very good. So then we're also going to go to Dimensional Jewel. Oh, okay, I thought it was another 2-star for a second. So same concept, in plus 1.5%. And then, when actively dealing skill damage, as you'll be doing a lot with this character, 15% chance to reduce cooldown by 1. Now, the thing I'm wondering about this is, if you do an AoE such as her Blizzard, is that a chance on every hit to reduce cooldown by 1? Does it stack more than once? Not sure. If anyone could test that for me, I'd really appreciate it. Because that'd be pretty awesome, but I'd assume that's not working as intended if that's what happens. So there's your gear recommendations, guys. But once again, there's always some good gear no matter what you get. Now, real quick, I'll go into enchants and then we'll end this video. So as far as I see it, I've seen a couple of people run her with 3 different enchants. So first of all, Meteor, once again, crit plus 5% when attacking with troops above 80%. All damage dealt after entering battle plus 20%. You remember she has a bunch of troopers that if you attack something that's either 100% or they're above a certain percentage, they get 10 to 15% bonus damage. So that could be really good depending on what's going on. Some people as well, I've seen them do Blazing Sun just for the damage, which that's up to you if you want to do that. Now, what was the other one? Magic was another one I saw. Intelligence attack plus 5%. Skill damage 10%. AoE increased by 5%. There was one other one. Was it? No, it wasn't this one. Full Moon's not terrible, but I think it was, yeah, the decreased damage. So attacking it with the 2 set on Rough Sea, 5%. When actively attacking and entering battle, attack increases by 10% just flat out. You don't have to worry about percentages or anything if your troops are low, whatever. And damage taken is decreased by 50%. Super good if you're fighting a bunch of assassin units or archers, anyone that can hit real hard physically. And they get in on you in melee if you're running her as a trooper. Super good. So that's going to be my recommendations for this character, guys. So, Imelda. Get rid of this here. Imelda, pretty freaking awesome. And from what I've heard, because I don't have her myself, but for those of you guys that have been to, I forget what mission it is. It's like 15 to 18 or something like that on the overworld map. You remember that group of 2 monks or casters or whatever, where one of them has really high physical defense and one of them has really high magical defense, and they constantly keep buffing when one of them gets low, like 1,000 attack, like something ridiculous. Imelda apparently can handle the physical defense guy all by herself without any help, which that guy was a huge pain for me because my magic damage is kind of lacking, for lack of a better term. But anyways, guys, that's been it for me. So I wanted to shout out Horrible Chopstick, guys. So if you haven't seen him, go follow his YouTube. Good guy. We've kind of agreed for now because there's so much information to get out on this game. For now, I'm going to be doing more of the character stuff and more of the in-depth stuff. Doesn't mean I won't do like a guide on general stuff too. But if you want more guides on general stuff, check out Horrible Chopsticks. From what I know, he's releasing an equipment guide pretty soon. I think it's supposed to be by tomorrow, so go check that out. And that's my shout out, guys. So I guess I'll shout myself out too. Yo, I'm Showtime Doctor, Showtime DR. You found my YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, check the title info. There's a link to these wikis, as well as my Twitch, my Discord. Twitch, stream this game most nights. Discord, come in, ask questions. Got a good group in there. Show off if you want. And I'll catch you guys later on. So have a great night. Peace.